I hope that is vodka in the bottle. I wish. There's nothing that gets you off more than exhaustion. And unfortunately, I've gotten to the point where it's going to be a little hard to get to sleep. So I said, screw it. Let's just talk to you guys. Just watch your last interview with Forkcast News. Amazing as usual. I think I did that interview 2 or 3 weeks ago, but sometimes they immediately release it. Sometimes they sit on it for a little bit. And it had been long enough time that I'd forgotten about it. And I said, oh, man, that'd be, yeah. And then it just comes out and I said, oh, yeah, okay. And then people say, I was saying, oh, I'm real fun and excited about Fortune 500 companies. And I don't remember exactly saying that. So I'm going to have to go back to that part of the interview and see what I said. But I was making a point that if you want to attract the Fortune 500, you probably should get adoption, use, and utility in the developing world because it creates a new customer base for them. You can't just directly approach the Fortune 500. But I'll have to go back and watch it again. But it was a fun interview. I really liked the interviewer. I forget her name. But I've met her a few times. And I always run into her at conferences. And we've done, I think, 3 interviews total. And they've all been great interviews. I've had a lot of fun with them. Good morning. When will you be in Okinawa? So I'm going to go back to Japan, and it's kind of a closing of the 2020 contract. So we start from where we were in 2015 to what we accomplished in 2020. And part of the tour, starting from Hokkaido all the way down to Okinawa, is a celebration of what we accomplished. And the next part of the tour is to talk about what we'd like to do over the next 5 years. And it's basically an opportunity for people to vote and decide if that vision makes sense or if they want to do something else. And we'll make the case that there's a lot more to do. It's kind of like running for re-election. You know, you kind of go over what you did over your term and you talk about the things you plan to do with the next one. That said, we are waiting for more news about COVID. The United States borders are locked down. Japan borders are mostly locked down. And vaccinations are getting into the global commons, but they haven't quite gotten to a level yet that is substantively affecting the infection rates. So we're right now in the 3rd wave of COVID. And as a consequence, the hospitals are at capacity and it's real tough for a lot of people. So as soon as that recedes a little bit, we'll go ahead and go to Japan, and we can actually have gatherings. We'll go to Japan. So the big thing is going to be the Olympics. I'm still waiting on to see exactly what happens there and when it's okay to have larger gatherings in Japan and when Japan has a higher vaccination rate. So we'll see. So we haven't quite planned that trip out. I'd love to do it in June, but it might actually take a few more months just depending on vaccine distribution and what the Japanese government decides, as well as what's going on in the United States and what the U.S. government decides. At the moment, we're on lockdown in terms of international travel. I can't fly to Canada. I can't fly abroad. So even if I wanted to be in Okinawa, I can't quite get there yet.